Up at beautiful Cairns for game 24 of the WNBL season, and two teams coming in on the rebounder. The Southside Flyers, their second loss of the season on Monday night up against the Canberra Capitals. Meanwhile, for the Perth Lynx, they're on a two-game losing streak. First leg of a back-to-back. It starts with the Flyers, continues tomorrow night against the Canberra Capitals. It's a tough double for the Perth Lynx. Corbin Middlemass and Pete Hawley in commentary. Pete, I guess so much of this centres around the Southside Flyers. Can Perth exploit a sense of vulnerability in them? Is there something in the Flyers' two losses that you've noticed that teams can try and work on?
Well, I think the big one was last game against the Capitals was they got Liz frustrated and she got in a bit of foul trouble in that half and they just swung the momentum. But the energy the Capitals put defensively on the Southside Flyers guards was tremendous. So that's something they can definitely take out the Perth Lynx and try and exploit. But you're right, this game is huge for the Flyers. Can they bounce back? How well will they bounce back? They're supposed to be the favourites, and I reckon they needed that loss. They needed to take it the way they did, but now it's all character building. And what are you going to be able to do tonight to show that you deserve to be the favourites?
They're such a loaded lineup, the Southside Flyers. The Perth Lynx in a different stage of their development. They have a lot of homegrown talent this year. The licence handed back by Jack Bendat and the Wildcats, so under the watch of Basketball WA. And Pete, no surprise, there's a lot of Sandgropers in this lineup.
Well, there is, and obviously they're headlined by Darcy Garvin and Katie Ebzery, and they're the two who are going to have to carry the load. Darcy Garvin played 39 minutes last game, so how's she going to be able to back up? But it's going to revolve around those two. And who else is going to take an opportunity tonight to go at these Flyers? We'll
follow this team closely, in particular Liz Cambage, one of the best players in the world. How do they get the best out of Liz, and how do they make it work collectively as a unit?
Oh, she was terrific in that third quarter, really just took over the game, but it wasn't enough. She had those 4 fouls, but it's everyone else around her who can really try and lift. I think they need big games from Beck Cole and Leilani Mitchell. They need to really start clicking, because you know you're going to get what you're going to get from Liz Cambage. That's why she's the greatest. That's why she's here. But who else is going to go with her? We know Sarah Blitzarves is playing tremendous, but they need a couple of their guards to really start catch fire.
The third member of our team, Braden Heselhurst, is with us courtside again tonight. Braden, two names in particular missing off the Perth Lynx lineup tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. We're great to be here with you guys again, but we have some unfortunate news out of the Perth Lynx camp with Alex Tubertoni and Kayla Steindl both out tonight with injuries. Coach Ryan Petrick said they probably would have played if they only had one game, but with the tough doubleheader with the UC Caps again tomorrow night, they'll be out. So unfortunate for the Perth Lynx tonight, but earlier on we were able to catch up with Perth Lynx star Katie Ebzery and Southside Flyers star Leilani Mitchell about how they can bounce back tonight.
I mean, there are a lot of positives we could take from that loss against Sydney, and it's just about implementing them in this game against Southside. I think we could take a lot of positives from our first half against Southside, so it's just implementing those things for the whole 40 minutes, and I think obviously defensive is a massive thing against a team as talented as the Flyers, so making sure we stick to our defensive assignments and just maintaining effort for 40 minutes.
You know, I think we had a good look at ourselves yesterday, the things that we did wrong, both defensively and offensively. And the good thing about this season is that the games come quickly. So we spoke about it yesterday with Cheryl, and a lot of the players spoke up and you know, just gave our opinion on how things are going. And we know that defensively we really need to lock down and start helping each other more. That's the biggest thing for us.
Leilani Mitchell touched on it there, Pete. Defensively in particular, their two losses. Melbourne Boomers shot the lights out. They had 16 made threes, but something that underpinned their game that night was their ball movement. And defensively, maybe a couple of holes opening up in the Southside Flyers lineup.
Well, one of the key things that Leilani Mitchell said there was they sat down and had an open conversation, which is what you want after a loss like that. There's two ways to go about it. You pick apart everything that went bad, and let's be honest, a lot went bad the other night. Or you can kind of flush that and say, we laid an egg, this is what's happening, where does everyone see the game is at, and where do they see their roles in the team? And it sounds like that's what they did, and that's what's a really good step, and it's how they're going to come out now from that kind of meeting, and I'm expecting them to really shine tonight.
What do you want to see from Liz tonight?
She's got to establish her dominance early, and I think we expected that the other night against Mariana Tolo, but Tolo just dominated both ends of the floor. Her defense, her energy, her physicality just set the tone, and then Liz was kind of on catch-up and then got those fouls, got a bit frustrated. Obviously, she's going to score the ball, but can she really dominate this game early and often?
So both teams coming off a loss. It's Perth and Southside. And for the Flyers, trying to get back into the winners list, and it'll be nice to look good doing it. Opening tip, though, going the way of the Perth Lynx in the black singlets, the Flyers in the white. Down low, shot up from Garvin, doesn't go. And a rebound to Cambage, so stat for it early. Walks to the length of the floor, puts up the jump shot from the free throw line, misses. And Ebzery pulls down the rebound. Opal's guard, Rio Olympian. Katie Ebzery running the show for Perth. Garvin, back to Ebzery. Well, Cambage able to just knock it off her shin in the direction of Sarah Blitzarps. Runs the floor, layup goes up, doesn't drop. Cole pulls it down. Burrows wrestles with her for the ball. And a jump ball call.
And I'm sure Cheryl Chambers has set that challenge for Leilani Mitchell and Beck Cole with. They got out energy from the caps to the guards. They were just all over them, both sides. Can they kind of bring the energy? You saw Leilani Mitchell's defense down the other end. Beck Cole offensive rebound. It's a great little start in his first 50 seconds.
Here's Cole, catches the inbounds, puts up the shot through traffic and finishes. First points of the game, Beck Cole starts the scoring. Just 4 points against Canberra the other night. Ebzery swings it into the corner. Shot goes up from Sharp, doesn't drop. Over the baseline, last touch flies. Lynx ball on the inbounds. Garvin, nice work, dumps it down low, and Sharp able to just kiss it in off the glass for Perth's first points.
That was a really smart play. You saw your defenders not looking to reverse seal. Great awareness from Garvin to throw it in there, and a really nice finish. They've had a couple of very good offensive plays to start, and unlucky to miss the first one, but way to get on the board there.
They met only a couple of nights ago, the Lynx and the Flyers. It was a wide margin in the finish. Flyers home by 46, but Perth led that game by 10 early. Here's Edwards, out to Burrows. Taya Burrows, just outside the keyway, gives it back to Edwards. 4 left on the shot clock. Leilani Mitchell knocks it free and collects in the open court. Tries to find Cambage, and Ebzery back in the passing lane, comes up with it for Perth. Ebzery goes back to Edwards, puts up the jump shot, and it's good for 2.
We spoke about the defensive struggles that the Flyers had the other night, but they had a lot of unforced errors as well as turnovers that were forced by the Capitals defense, and you see one there, and that's what Perth have to try and do. Really try and make them rush and get out of their offensive sets and then attack them down the other way, try and draw some fouls, and that was really where we saw a floor kind of open up.
Sarah Blitzarps trying to go to work, gives it to Cambage, puts the shot up, no good. Edwards the rebound. Ebzery shoots the 3, it's good. Straight on 3 for Katie, and Perth get the early jump, 7-2. Last touch Perth, Flyers will get it back. Southside have actually trailed at quarter time in their last 3 games.
Well, they're still trying to figure out a lot of their roles. They have so much depth and their talent is just so deep, and anyone can step in and do this. So they're just trying to find what works, and it's tough without practice to be able to throw these different lineups in. So they're going to make it work. They have the talent to do so, but you can't get off to those slow starts in every game. It will bite you.
O'Hay tries to dump it down to Liz. Here's Steph Blitzarps, shoots the jump shot, and it's good. Off the back of the rim. 9 for her the other night. Steph had 15 minutes on the floor, didn't have a field goal attempt, which is a little surprising as Garvin tries to chuck it down low and Edwards can't control it. Out it goes over the baseline.
And I think that's something Cheryl Chambers will be asking as well, is the guards are going to have off nights at times. Every player is, and who's going to be able to step into that role and kind of help carry the load that certain players are. Sarah Blitzarps was awesome. So could Steph Blitzarps be that next one if the guard's off? Can she step in and really try and ignite that spark off the bench?
Jarry out on the floor with the inbounds. Mitchell to Steph Blitzarps, now to O'Hay, down to Cambage. Going to work, spin move's good, shot up, draws the foul. Cambage should go to the line to shoot a couple.
And that's where she's terrific. She uses her size and strength so well, and the touch she has around the rim. We've seen her, she can hit that fadeaway consistently. When she's down low, she's incredibly hard to stop, and that's something we saw the other night of the early work that Tolo put on her and just kind of wore her down, didn't let her get to where she was comfortable, just really paid off in that first half. And that's what the Perth Lynx have to do, really try and put that body on her early, keep her away from where she's comfortable and make her do something she's not necessarily keen to do every time down the floor.
One of the MVP favourites, leads the competition in total points, defensive rebounds, block shots. 2 of 2 at the line there, Liz Cambage. 1-point game. There's a call of the travel on Alex Sharp up top, shifting her feet. Just repeating the news which Braden told us pre-game, so no Alex Chippertoni, no Kayla Steindl, the two missing for Perth. So a couple of big outs, first leg of the back-to-back. As Cambage backs her way in on Edwards and finishes over the top, off the glass. Southside in front, second lead change of the game. Catch and shoot scenario on the corner, that's good. Alex Sharp, clean look from the corner. Puts Perth back in front after 4 minutes. Cole, down low to Liz. Shot up, misses, O-board, put back, that's good. Cambage up to 6 first quarter points.
And that's what we want to see from her early, but Katie Ebzery, what a way to come across, put your body on the line. I reckon if she falls down, she's going to put the referee in a tough decision there of what's he going to call, because she got there early in time and she's just going to be too big and too strong in those situations. So you want to get someone to attack her legs if she misses, box her out, just get her away. And if you might pick up a foul or two there, but if she knows in the back of her mind she's going to get hit every time down the floor on rebounds, then she starts to second guess going after them herself. So I'd like to see someone really trying to attack her legs on a box out.
Ebzery with 1-3. She's also got a rebound, 2 assists and a steal to start the game. Already 4.5 minutes in. Here's Sharp. It's going to pull up. Extended free throw line. It's good for 2 more. Alex Sharp. Nice shooting display early. More points. She's up to 7 for the game. Jarry kicks it out. Steph Blitzarves. Extra pass to Cole. Off the front of the rim. Jarry pulls down the O-board. Away to Steph Blitzarves from Clydesdale. Shot up, misses. Spills to O'Hay. They'll get the third lick at the ice cream here. O'Hay, weak side corner. Clydesdale for 3. Drills it. And Amy Clydesdale puts Southside back in front.
And that's frustrating if you're Ryan Petrick, because the great defensive possessions, and you've got Katie Ebzery down there trying to box out. Who's going to help her? She's doing her job. Who else is going to make sure they get a body? You don't want to give the Flyers any more opportunities than they're already going to have.
Edwards shot up, misses. Touched it last. Braden Hazelhurst is with us courtside. Braden.
Yeah, I spoke to both coaches before the game, and Coach Cheryl Chambers for the Southside Flyers just said we will be better. She wanted a lot more energy on the both ends of the floor tonight. Already you can see it on the defensive end, a lot more talk, a lot more physicality, and a lot more purpose on the offensive end as well. For the Perth Lynx, Ryan Petrick said he was really looking forward to seeing his youngsters get more of an opportunity. In particular, Alex Sharp, who said she dominated preseason, hasn't really sort of put it together yet, but already she has 7 points and looking good.
Well, they're the kind of things that are going to happen tonight, and that's why it is a danger game for the Flyers. Yeah, you beat them by nearly 50 in the game before, but they're missing 2 starters. Who's going to step up? And you're going to get a chance to play no matter what if you're any player on the Lynx. So take advantage of it. You're not going to get dragged every time. You're going to have this freedom to play. So enjoy the challenge and really just try and rise to it.
Garvin came up with it from the inbounds. Jill Williams chucks it away. Different looking 5 on the floor for Perth, as we touched on, not just with Chippertoni and Steindl missing, but chance to give minutes to the entire roster tonight for Coach Petrick. Garvin, Williams, Sharp, Clinch, Hoykart and Clark, the 5 on the floor at the moment for the Lynx. For Southside, Cole, Clydesdale, O'Hay, Steph Blitzarves and Jarry. Flyers by 1 in the white singlets. Here's Jenna O'Hay. Away to Cole. Swings it weak side corner. 3 on the way from Steph Blitzarves and knocks it down.
We said we wanted to see something from the Flyers guards, and we've seen it so far. Beck Cole's energy's definitely lifted, and she's really setting the tone. But Steph Blitzar's off the bench. That's what Cheryl Chambers needs every night, and that's a great start from her. And look, really, the Flyers guards have set this tone early, and it's going to be that challenge for the Perth Lynx young guns. Can they come in there and try and match it and exceed it and just have fun with it?
Now caught on Mackenzie Clinch-Hoycard, the 22-year-old Kalgoorlie native, out of the Goldfield, same place as Darcy Garvin hails from. Sends Beck Cole to the free throw line. Misses the first. The second shot's good. 5-point spread. Williams up the floor for Perth. Here's Sharp, dumps it down low to Garvin, just got hands to it, skims off her palm over the baseline. Southside get it back. Three early lead changes in the game. The Flyers out by a game high 5 here. Shot up from Jarry, a little long. Spills to Sharp, comes up with it for Perth. 1-5 to start the season, the Lynx, missing the playoffs last year. Of course, we've seen them deep in playoffs in years before that, in a grand final appearance against Townsville. Darcy Garvin, a member of those teams, a couple of times the championship winner with the Fire. Liz Candace about to check back into the game. Here she is.
And we spoke about the load that Darcy Garvin and Katie Ebser are going to have to carry. Garvin played 39 minutes last game, Esri 34, and when you've got a game again tomorrow night, it's all about, you've got to manage bodies, you've got to do that, which gives even more of an opportunity for young guns to really step up and embrace it.
Shot misses, just trying to, Emma Clark put up the shot, no good. Here's Clydesdale, kicks it back out to O'Hay. Catch and shoot for 3, had plenty of time given the cushion. And Jenna O'Hay drains it up top. Out to an 8-point game. Clark trying to find Garvin, and Cole had a touch on it. Garvin touched it last. Flyers ball.
The energy is just unreal right now from Beck Cole. She said it from the start, and her defense in Leilani Mitchell was the same, and really getting up and in and trying to pressure everybody all over the floor. And it's carrying on. Your team's starting to get a little bit infectious, and energy is so important in these games where you don't have so much rest between and to come out fresh. And it's a great start by Beck Cole, brought in by Steph Blitzar's off the bench as well to carry it on.
Beck Cole shoots off the dribble. That's good. Right on cue, Pete Hawley.
Tried to do a little reverse commentator's curse there, but no, what a great start from Beck Cole and the Flyers.
Up to 8 turnovers already, Perth. They've got to protect the ball here. Dumping it down low. Garvin, reverse layup, makes that. Flyers quickly up the floor. Steph Blitzarves chucks it to Liz. Skims off her hand. O'Hay and Garvin wrestle each other for it.
Well, at this rate, 8 turnovers, they're in for a long night. You've got to look after the ball against the Flyers because 1 through 5 just take off and run, and they're so dangerous in transition. We know what they can do in the half court. They can run through a set, they can throw it into Liz when they need, especially in a game like this, but you've got to make sure you get a shot every time down the floor. Flyers have had 7 more field goal attempts, and that's going to hurt you in the long run, and it will hurt you real quickly.
Ebseri still sitting for the Lynx as well. Chippertoni and Steindl aren't out there. There's an error bringing the ball up the floor. Another turnover from the Lynx. Cambash has it stolen from her. Clinch Hoycart had it, lost it. Steph to Sarah Blitzarves, that's good. Mid-range Jay drops back to 10 points. First points of the night for Sarah Blitzarves. Well, now another turnover. Clydesdale comes up with it for the Flyers. Nightmare start for the Lynx. Sarah Blitzarves trying to drive to the rack. She touched it last, no call. Over the baseline, Perth get it back. 10-3 the turnovers in the opening quarter.
And there's 2 different types of turnovers. There's ones where you're trying to be aggressive and create something. They're the ones that a coach will live with. It's the unforced errors, the ones that you just give and hand over to the other team. It's really going to grind Brian Petrick's gears. So if you're going to do it, make sure it's aggressive and you're trying to get something towards the rim.
Step back three's good. Darcy Garvin showing some class. Gap closes to 7. Oh, and a travel called on Leilani Mitchell. So a stop here for the Lynx. Can they capitalise on this? Getting to see the whole bench in this opening quarter. Nashaya Parker-Williams is out there now. This is Taya Burrows. Puts up the shot. Off the glass, doesn't go. Cambage waiting for the rebound, pulls it down. Burrows giving away a significant height advantage. Cambage works it up. The 1-2 with Steph blitz up. Shot goes up. She's fouled. Liz will go to the line.
I mean, Taya Burrows on the other end. That's a great attack going up against the trees and just missed the layup and then just turn around and try and get back and get a stop. That's a great effort. And unfortunately, Liz, when she runs the floor like that, she's incredibly hard to stop. But that's what Ryan Petrick wants to see from these young ones. Attack, be aggressive. If you miss, don't hang your head. Just get back and try and get a stop. And that's exactly what Taya Burrows did just there.
She was perfect from the line early. That's her first miss. Liz, and Garvin scoops it up for Perth. Here's Burrows. Up top to Garvin. Parker-Williams. Back to Garvin. Shot blocked. Cambage swats it away. Steph Blitzhub's in transition. Nails the layup. Oh, and Burrows has a foot on the sideline. They'll get it back, the Flyers.
Just a great help side read by Liz. That's what she loves to do, to come across and try and swat it a few rows back. And just a really smart timing of the play, not to get the foul called and down the other end. And nice take by Steph Blitzard. Sorry, she's been awesome. The guard play so far has been what Cheryl Chambers wishes. She's probably going to say quarter time, where was that the other night when we needed it? But that's what the Flyers can do. We know they can do that, and it's great that they're showing it here.
Liz to go to the line for more foul shots. Haven't got, very few teams in the competition have the matchup for Liz, so we're going to see her double teamed, I'm sure, throughout the night. A different assignment for Liz, I'm sure, than Mariana Tolo back on Monday.
Well, it is, and it's something that Cheryl Chambers will have to discuss and play with, because of course they can just send her low and under the rim and score and have 50 tonight, but is that going to help them in the long run this season against the Mariana Tolo? Probably not. So it's something that she's going to have to weigh up as this game goes.
She's missed her last 3 foul shots. They get an O-board. Leilani Mitchell jacks the 3, no good. Liz pulls it down. Time running out. Shot up, too late. Flyers lead by 10 at quarter time. 3 lead changes in the opening quarter. Southside 27, Perth 17. Liz not happy with the clock just expiring on her there. Left with the ball right on the quarter time buzzer. 11 turnovers in the opening quarter for the Perth Lynx. We've seen their full bench. Limited minutes for their star, Katie Ebzery. We've also have no Chibatoni tonight, no Steindl. It's a first leg of a back-to-back for a team in development mode in the Perth Lynx. It's the Flyers, Pete Hawley by 10 at quarter time.
Well, they did what we needed them to see them do to bounce back after that loss the other night. And Leilani Mitchell spoke about it in the pre-game, saying that their energy on defense was something that had to start it. She brought it, but Beck Cole brought it from the start on her defensive energy. She got a couple of offensive rebounds. They fed Liz early, started to get rolling. And then when Steph Blitzarves came in, she was awesome. She picked up right where Beck Cole started, and they just kind of started to roll. But 11 turnovers is too many, and 7 offensive rebounds to the Flyers is just way too many. It's going to be a long night if you keep doing that. But as I said, Coach Ryan Petrick will live with certain turnovers, but it's the silly, unforced error ones which is really going to grind him down. He wants guys to play with confidence and just try and go out there and just have fun and be aggressive at doing so.
Leading scorers, Alex Sharp with 7 points. She had them really early in the games. A hot hand in the opening few minutes. 5 for Darcy Garvin, and that straight on 3 from Ebzery. Meanwhile, for the Flyers, 7 for Cambage, 7 for Steph Blitzarves, and then 5 for Beck Cole. Katie here going to start the second term for Perth. As will Liz.
And Katie Ebzery knows how much it's going to rely on her, not just having to score the ball, but her leadership of helping give confidence to all these players around her, all these young guns who are getting the opportunity to say, hey, if you're going to go in there and get blocked, you're going to get blocked. It's just a missed shot, but can you go and do it again? And we saw Jade Melbourne do it the other night. Just try and really play aggressive and just see what can work. And that's her leadership on the floor, which is so crucial when she's definitely not playing, which we saw in those last 5 minutes.
Braden Heselhurst courtside for us. What did you pick up at quarter time, Braden?
Yeah, Coach Ryan Petrick, most of the focus in that quarter-time break was just all about offensive execution. Thought they lost their way a bit in those last couple of minutes compared to the first 5 or 6. They were really aggressive to start and dropped off a bit, and it led to those easy transition points for Southside Flyers, as we see another one there. So offensive execution was the message from Coach Ryan Petrick.
Amy Clydesdale with the bucket in transition. 12-point game, new game high. Danger signs for Perth, they weren't already. Burrows to Garvin up top. Chucks it down to Edwards, trying to work her way in on Sarah Blitzov. Shot up, doesn't go. Burrows recovers it for Perth. He's Sharp off the dribble. Jump shot's good.
Well, I love what I've seen from her earlier. Only averages 7 points on the season. There we go with the energy picked up from Burrows there. But Alex Sharp, what a great start she's had. Can she just keep it going and see where you can go? You're going to get more shots tonight. You're going to get a lot more opportunity. Just let's have a big one from you.
Ebzery off the dribble. Kicks it back out. Sharp extra pass. Garvin fumbles. Out it goes. Southside ball. Darcy Garvin coming off 22 and 8 last start against the Sydney Flames. Sarah Blitzov's on the perimeter to Clydesdale up top. Out to Jarry, chucks it down to Candace, and Candace off the window for 2 more.
And that's something else we wanted to see. They got out-executed from the whole game the other night against the Caps, and to be able to come in and run your stuff and run it well, they're the plays that are really going to help them going forward rather than just dumping it down. Screens, cross screens, shuffle screens, all that really just opened up the floor, and that's where you get Liz and where she's at her best.
Another rebound for Candace. The 7th of the game, so 9 and 7 already for Liz in less than 10 minutes on the floor. Now 11 points. Turn around, Jay guarded by 3. Stop that if you can.
Well, there's the other side of the luxury of they love to push in transition, and when you've got nothing to be able to throw it up there, and hey, that's why she's one of the best in the world at what she does.
Ebzery will just dribble the ball straight off Liz's shoe. Clydesdale downhill, lays it up. Another bucket for Southside. Taya Burrows. Out to Sharp, leaves it behind for Edwards. Baseline, Jay's good.
Great knockdown, but Alex Sharp again, she looks like the one who's going to be able to step up in this game and just play with confidence. Great awareness to see Liz come off that early side defense and just knock it in, and really good finish.
Candace. Out to Jarry. Bounced off a number of legs in the keyway. Trying to chuck it back to her teammate. Sarah Blitzhelps coughs it up. Garvin. Ebzery, step back 3, shot up, doesn't go. Sharp scoops it up. Katie has another go, straight on 3 for a second, misses. Southside just trying to change the tempo of the game here through Clydesdale. 14-point margin. Flyers lead it. Liz to the weak side corner. Leilani Mitchell pours it in. Just taking pitches out in the corner. Had plenty of time to settle on her stroke, and Leilani Mitchell bangs it down. All of a sudden, Pete Oy, it's at 17 points the Flyers' way. 6:19 to go in the second.
Well, that 3 is more than just a lead extender. That's huge for Leilani Mitchell and the Flyers. They need to get her rolling. She was 1 of 8 for 3 the other night. The last 3 came in the last couple of minutes where it was meaningless, and they want her playing well and shooting well. And again, it was great offense, and Liz just seeing that the defense helped off her and found her wide open in the corner. But they want to see the guards play, as we've discussed, really start well, and that's a very welcoming sight for the Flyers.
Leilani the other night, 1 of 8 for the field. 3 assists, 3 turnovers against Canberra. It's the 3 points, and on the other side of the ball, big nights for Melbourne and Rochi, as we've touched on. Here's Coach Petrick. Back end of Ryan Petrick, first year in charge of the Perth Lynx. He's spent time working as an assistant both under Andy Stewart with the Perth Lynx and with the Perth Wildcats as part of their program with Coach Beveridge and Coach Gleeson. 17-point buffer at the moment, the Flyers' way.
And he knows, he would understand that the challenge they've got right now, especially the Flyers coming off a disappointing loss like that, they're going to be hungry looking to bounce back. But he's going to just want to see that confidence, and he wants to see that aggression. And don't shy away from this challenge. I know the lead's up to 17 right now, but every play we're going to play aggressive, and we're just going to try and attack as best as we can.
Ebzery trying to make it happen here off the dribble, pulls up from the elbow, misses. Pizzi with the rebound for the Flyers, getting some early minutes. 6 to go before the half. Steph Blitzarves to Mitchell. Down to O'Hea. Ebzery in the passing lane, comes up with the steal. Lays it in for 2 in transition. Katie Ebzery able to make the bucket. She's up to 5 points. Here's Leilani Mitchell for back-to-back threes, and Leilani Mitchell drops it in. The second make in the last minute of play, Pete Hawley.
Well, it only takes one. If you're a knockdown shooter normally and you've had a couple of rough games, it takes one to get your eye in, and that wide open one, nothing but net at the corner, just giving her confidence to step up and go, and it's a really, really good sign. But hey, way to bounce back and hit one down the other end.
It'll be a confidence booster for Jewel Williams. He's back on the guard spot. Sister Ebzery. Here's Jarry. Up top to Pizzi, to Steph Blitzarves. O'Hea swings it back up top. Clean look again for Mitchell. Catches the front of the rim. Long rebound for the Flyers. Jenna O'Hea trying to get it back to Mitchell. Hand on it on the way through from Eisenbarger. Shot up, shot in. Leilani Mitchell with her third make in this second quarter. This is exactly what the Flyers would have wanted out of the timeout. Ebzery with a pump fake, dribbles inside, foul. Katie Ebzery to go the line to shoot a couple.
Cheryl Chambers has been waiting for Leilani Mitchell to have a game like this, and I tell you what, shot clock running down, you just miss one. It's the best scenario to be in, especially as a guard, because you're not going to get benched for taking a bad shot with the shot clock running down, but that rim's starting to look bigger and bigger, and she's starting to get a little swagger back, which is a really good sign.
Ebzery 11 minutes on the floor. First trip to the foul line here for the night. Second shot's good. Up to 7 points. She's going to sit down. Big workload, young team. Touched on her leadership qualities. Now at 30 years of age, the captain of this team. Was an Olympian, still in the Opal squad for the upcoming Tokyo Olympics. One of 2 players out there for Perth in that squad, the other being Darcy Garvin, who's out on the floor, but it's Steph Blitzarves who's just cutting her way through the paint, lays it home for another bucket. She's up to 9.
Oh, what a tremendous start she's had. It's really good to see, and not only that, the defense and the way she's just attacking the rim, and another inclusion here with Nick Conti, which we didn't see much the other night, that I would have liked to see earlier. She's an energy type player. She likes to really get up and in defensively. She's very handsy but very physical, and she can get away with a lot. So I would have liked to see that. And I think she's going to be in a very important piece of this Flyers outfit for that energy spark off the bench.
Bringing the business there to Jewel Williams, who slips over, loses the handle. O'Hea, clever pass to Pizzi. Downhill, lays it up, misses. Still a chance for the Flyers eventually. Steph Blitzarves inadvertently kicks it over the baseline. Turnover count 14-8. Perth had 11 turnovers in the opening quarter. Jewel Williams Bounce pass to Garvin. Hand off to Williams. Steps out of the perimeter, puts the shot up, doesn't go. It's a foul call.
That's a good look. You're wide open. Your defense goes under the screen. Let it fly. As we keep saying, that confidence, if you get a little green light, if you get a nice offensive set or your defense makes a mistake, make them pay and just make sure that you keep stepping in and ready to shoot that every single time.
Emma Clark was fouled. Shot up here from Clinch Hoykart, misses. Pizzi on the rebound for the Flyers. 18-point game. We had 3 lead changes early in the piece in the opening quarter. Flyers led by 10 at quarter time. They now lead by 20. More points, Sarah Blitzarves on this occasion. Steph has 9 points. She's on the rebound here. Away to Conti. Up top to O'Hay and now out to Sarah Blitzarves. Down to O'Hay. Shoots the pass to Conti. Catch and shoots good. Monique Conti with a 3. Gets her scoring going. 2.5 to go before halftime.
And you can see what she's in for now. It's the defensive pressure. She's all up and in. She just loves those assignments. So if she's knocking down those threes on the other end, that gives Cheryl Chambers even more confidence to say, hey, I don't just need you for these defensive assignments. I want you to go in there, and if you get a wide open shot, knock it down. And she keeps knocking those down. Her minutes are going to start to grow, and her role in this team is going to start to grow.
A few changes for Perth with here's Eisenbarger. Shot goes up, misses. Short J. .23-point game the Flyers way. Here's Conti, the last make at this end of the floor. To Bet Cole, trying to find her way to the bucket. Shot goes up. Can't get it to go, and Parker Williams pulls down the rebound. Shea Parker Williams, just one of 4 players returning for the Lynx this year. Made her WNBL debut at just 17. She's now 19. Shot up there from Garvin. Not before the whistle, though. Foul called on Ben Cole. Candage back out there for the Flyers. Here's Alex Sharp for Perth. To Garvin. Hand off to Clark. Jump shot up. A little long, and the rebound to Cole for the Flyers. Candage puts it on the floor. Spin move, shot up. Draws the foul. A couple of shots coming up for Cambage here to add to her tally. She's got 11 points already tonight, 7 rebounds. She's played 12.5 minutes of possible 19.
And it's something that they kind of got exposed the other night. She had 4 fouls, but her defense, we know how good she is as a help side defender, but if she's in that on-ball screen, where's she going to play? Is she going to play high and try and make the guard go around, or is she going to drop off? And if you're going to keep dropping off, you're going to give these guards in this league a chance to knock down mid-range after mid-range, which can hurt with a really guard-talented league that we have, and especially other teams that we'll talk about. So it's where that she's at best, and I think it's best when she's just that help side defender to come across and try and block and make those shots hard.
Sharp to Garvin. A lot of the night again this evening. Here's Clark trying to go off the dribble. Draws the foul from Bet Cole. It's her second. Both come in the last 2 minutes here of this opening half. Edwards coming back for Perth. She started tonight in the absence of Kayla Steindl. So no Steindl, no Chibatoni, the 2 missing from Perth's lineup. First leg of the back-to-back. They've got Canberra tomorrow night. Reasons behind that. Here's Emma Clark, really talented 20-year-old as she goes to the line and makes both. Perry Lakes Jr., so a local from Western Australia that played last year at the University of Colorado, was due to go to Texas Tech this year, obviously before the pandemic, signing late as a replacement for Sammy Whitcomb into the Perth team. Here's Cambage, shot up and in. 4 points off the glass for Liz.
What a well-executed play. You can see they've obviously talked about the offensive execution wasn't there the other night, and that play right down to the end of the shot clock got Liz exactly where they wanted, and it looked like a tough bucket, but that's Liz is going to eat that up all day. That's where she wants it, but their offense looks so much better than it did the other night, and they look more composed, especially with their balance of transition basketball, trying to play fast. If it's not there, run through a set, and they've done that, and they get Liz or a player they want in a certain spot, and that's where they're successful.
14, what is a 3-second differential between shot clock and game clock. Now, won't matter here. Shot goes up from Sarah Blitzarms and lays it in off the window. Extends that margin. New game high, 27 points. Burrows with time running out, a little long on the shot. So at halftime, the Southside Flyers, comfortable lead over the Perth Lynx, 57-30. Did a job on them a couple of nights ago to win by 48. Well, they're more than halfway to that margin. It's 27 points the spread at halftime. Southside 57, Perth 30.
Well, there's the two things they highlighted. Leilani Mitchell spoke about it. We didn't see it the other night. Offensive execution and defensive energy, and both have been terrific in this first half. Started with Beck Cole. Steph Blitzarves really got going. Leilani Mitchell got going, but their offensive execution was so much better. It was just hot and cold what we saw the other night. They're running through plays, they're hitting screens, they're getting players where they need to get the ball to be successful, and that's why they built this lead. But they had the 12 turnovers in the first quarter of the Perth Lynx, and a lot of those were unforced. But again, that comes with the energy and the wearing down that we've seen from the Flyers guards.
Twice as many rebounds. Turnover count currently 15-8 Perth's way. I'll take you through all the numbers momentarily. That was the big one in that first quarter. It was 11-5, so they have tightened up a little bit, 4-3 that quarter. The adjustment, Perth with one more. Getting plenty of burn into the entire bench. No Chibatoni, no Steindl. And then just trying to rotate the lineup to use every member and obviously share the minutes out between their more experienced players with Garvin and Sharp and Ebzery. Let's take a look at the highlights from that first half of basketball. The Flyers by 27 points. It's pretty entertaining early in the piece and seesawing the momentum. We had 3 lead changes really early in the piece, but the latter stage of that opening quarter peak, the Flyers began to take over.
Well, Katie Ebzery spoke about it, that they had some really good flashes when they played them last time, and it's about sustaining it for 40 minutes, and it's tough to do against the Flyers at the best of times, but it's even tougher when they're coming off a loss like the way they lost. Not just losing, but the way they lost, and they're coming out with a particular focus, and they've done really well at highlighting those 2 points of the game and going at it.
A couple of the individuals, Liz Cambage with 15 points to halftime. She's also got 7 rebounds to go along with that. We'll put more of a focus on Liz in just a moment. If you're Coach Petrick, in charge of the Perth Lynx, what positives are you finding through that first half?
Yeah, I mean, you just got to say, what we've been talking about is you live with certain types of turnovers. You don't want to be afraid or silly turnovers where you're trying to create something out of nothing. You want them to be aggressive, confident turnovers, trying to attack the rim or trying to break down your defender or even like an offensive screen, but really trying to have something positive to the team. You live with those. You don't want the little ones that are just going to get them off and running down the other end, and it's going to be tough defensively, especially when they're running their stuff, but you can't hang your heads. You just got to turn around and go back down the other end, and every opportunity down the floor is a chance to show Coach why you want more minutes in this league.
I'm sure that'll be the message from Coach Ryan Petrick at halftime. It's lopsided on the scoreboard. Still plenty of intrigue surrounding it. It's the first leg of a doubleheader tonight, so stick around. Round 3 rolls on to the WNBL. It's the Southside Flyers at halftime by 27 points. The other side of things, Pete Hooley at halftime, the Flyers, they lead by 27 points. The season so far, they're 4-2. Their 2 losses coming up against fellow title contenders in the Melbourne Boomers and the Canberra Capitals. If you coach Cheryl Chambers, what would be the positives of that first half?
Well, I think it was the fact that we know that they could score by throwing it into Liz tonight and just letting her be too tall, too strong and getting buckets and getting over the line. But is that going to work in the rest of the league? Is that going to work against Tolo like it didn't the other night? Against these other bigs of the Boomers, is that going to work? I think she wants to see them get through their offense and see what plays really work. And their defensive energy, that's something that she can't have as a switch to say in the middle of a game if it's not there, hey guys, let's go. She wants to see that from the start, and that starts with Beck Cole and Leilani Mitchell as the starting guards. Can they bring that defensive energy? And they did tonight, and they just started to really roll in that infectious energy just went from top to bottom.
Here's our player in focus, Pete. It's Liz Cambage again, some big numbers to halftime, 15 and 7.
She had a massive game against the Perth Lynx last time she played, and she had a good statistical game against the Canberra Capitals, but she got in foul trouble, which took her away from being able to be that help side defender, and it really cost them the game in the end. And good to see her come out and be aggressive, and she's got a couple blocks and getting a lot of rebounds, which is good to see as well. And just her presence, she doesn't have to block every shot. She doesn't have to come across and try, but just challenge and try and make everything difficult. And they've tried to have a couple turnovers because of it, and I think that's a really welcoming sight for Cheryl Chambers.
Steph Blitzarves, the 30-year-old, of course, so well credentialed. We obviously know her accolades, and a former Opal, of course, but not a slow start, but obviously hasn't played for a couple of years, is back into the league, hasn't put up big numbers. This is clearly offensively her biggest output of the season so far, with 9 points to halftime. She was excellent, particularly early in the game.
Well, that's going to be the biggest trouble with such a talented and deep roster, is the role clarity. You know what Liz is going to do. Who else is going to be able to buy into those roles? Sarah Blitzarves has done that tremendously. She's shining because of where Liz is and how well she plays off her, but who else can do it? And it's good to see Steph Blitzarves come in, and Cheryl Chambers needs that, especially if a guard is struggling. If Beck Cole or Leilani Mitchell is struggling, throw in Steph, and I think that happened in the first couple of minutes. Leilani Mitchell got taken off, threw Steph in, and she kind of lifted it. So then when Leilani came back in, knocked down a wide open 3, and now she's rolling. So when you've got that talent, it's always good to be able to have it. But where's the role clarity? I think that's the key thing that they probably discussed yesterday in the meeting we heard about to be able to go forward, because this season, if you're not on your game for one night, it could be the difference between winning a title or not. It's that simple.
They've been able to spread the floor tonight. Their shooters have been a threat from the perimeter, so they're 7 of 12 from the three-point line. You saw Amy Clydesdale knock one down. This is Alex Sharp. We've been impressed with her game tonight out of Wake Forest University. Over 1,000 points, 900 rebounds in her stay there, and first time we're getting a look at her in the WNBL.
I love what I've seen tonight, and she's knocking them down when she has to, but she's just taking shots with confidence and making other plays for her teammates around her. She's crashing O-boards. Doesn't mean you have to get O-boards, but if you crash it, the ball can fall to someone else. I really love what I've seen from her, and she's one that's taking that opportunity with those 2 starters out. And I actually like Taya Burrow's game as well. She hasn't hit the scoreboard, but she's been aggressive, and you see her on defense. She's scrappy. She's trying to get around and really try and help everybody and lift that energy. I like what I've seen from those 2.
And Leilani Mitchell, we're seeing the highlights now of her 3 makes from beyond the perimeter, and Monique Conti also getting involved. So they're the numbers to halftime. The 3-point stats, as I touched on, 58% from long range. The Flyers 7 of 12.
Well, and when it rains, it pours, and you're coming up against a team that really has to bounce back, and they're doing it, and they're knocking down shots. And you live with certain threes, but the wide open ones is really going to be disappointing, because you want to be able to contest, and if they make it over a hand, so be it. You just shake their hand and move on. But the turnovers was the big thing at the start. There was 11 of them in the first quarter, and a lot of them were unforced. It's good to see the assists really lift for the Flyers as well. That ball is flying around. They're getting guys where they need to be successful, and it's a great first half from them.
So 14-6, that category at halftime. It's 27 points the margin the way of the Southside Flyers at halftime. It's the first leg of a back-to-back for the Perth Lynx. They're up again tomorrow night, up against the Canberra Capitals. Braden Heselhurst is with us courtside. Braden, your observation.
Yeah, guys, a great half, obviously, for the Southside Flyers. Like I said, I spoke to Cheryl Chambers before the game, and she just said she wanted a lot more execution offensively and defensively. And offensively, you can see that, you know, they're getting a lot more movement to the post rather than just coming down and throwing to the post like they were the other night, which allowed Canberra to sink people into the keyway and put more people in front of Liz Cambage. On the other end, Perth Lynx still doing an okay job, obviously, with 2 starters out. But as Pete said, it's their turnovers and also their second chance points that'll let them down a little bit. So great first half for the Southside Flyers, and not bad from the Perth Lynx, but they need to clean those two areas up if they're going to sort of make a little bit of a run here in the second half.
We'll come back to you soon, Braden Hazelhurst with us courtside at the Cairns Pop-Up Arena. At half-time, it's 27 points the margin the way of the Southside Flyers. Some news out of the National Basketball League today. And the new chief executive of the Tasmania Jack Jumpers. I need to get used to saying that, of course. The NBL's newest franchise in Simon Brookhouse made the statement earlier today that he's open for the first coach of the Jack Jumpers to be a woman to coach the team, and that's obviously been endorsed by Sandy Brondello, the coach of the Opals. What did you make of his statement today?
Oh, I love it, and it's something that we've seen. Obviously, Greg Popovich with Becky Hammond kind of got it rolling, but it's what the league deserves. It's what sport deserves. And Sandy Brondello said that if the chance arose that she wouldn't just immediately turn it down, she'd have to strongly consider it, and it'd be something she'd look to do. And we'd love to see it, and I hope it would. But there's candidates all around, and one big one is obviously Tracy York, who was an assistant for the Adelaide 36ers under Joey Wright, now the Bendigo Spirit. So the opportunities are going to be out there, and it's something that I'd love to see, and I'm sure everybody would love to see.
I'm glad you mentioned Becky Hammond. She's the one that I thought of first, and it's not surprising at all that the San Antonio Spurs are the organisation that have a woman involved, not for any other reason other than they've got the best candidate in that role. It's statistically so unlikely that if you rule out an entire group of people based on one factor alone, that you're going to get the best people for the job. And sure enough, the San Antonio Spurs are the only team in the NBA with a female assistant.
And it's great, and it's exactly right. You want the best candidate, and you can't rule anything out. And we've seen plenty of opportunities now, and whoever it's going to be, you hope that it's becoming more and more common that we get to see those, and we'd love to see one for Tasmania. How good would that be? And it's just a great thing to start with, and we'll see how it goes.
We are flying through this game. I feel like there's been very few timeouts. The ball's rolling. It's 27 points at half-time, and the second half action's just about to begin. It's the Flyers by 27 at the half. Second half action to begin momentarily. There's two games tonight. If you're watching on KO Sports, big hello to our audience as well through ABC iView for the first of the two games tonight. There's another game to come at Townsville Stadium between Bendigo and Adelaide. Both teams coming off heavy defeats last night. The Adelaide one's a bit of a head-scratcher. Obviously, they had been in quarantine. They had 3 days where they had to be stuck in a room, and then afterwards were able to at least get out and train during that period. But I don't know if that's as much a mental thing as a physical thing last night. I'll be interested to see how they respond this evening.
Yeah, it is a tough one. They were rolling. I love what I saw from them in the first two games. In a shortened season, especially in this hub season, momentum as a team is huge, and they were getting things rolling. Alex Wilson, Steph Talbot, they're terrific, and their young guns were just rolling. And I hope they can get back to it, because they'll definitely be able to push for those final spots if they get back to where they were.
It starts with two back-to-backs, so obviously the second leg of that tonight up against Bendigo, and same again this weekend for Adelaide with games against Sydney and Southside. Second half action underway here. Corbin Middlemass, Pete Hawley and Braden Hazelhurst. The WNBL. As Cambage puts up a shot, the Flyers have a few cracks at it. In the end, Perth up the floor on a fumble over the baseline by Eisenbarger.
But I love the aggressiveness when just attacking it and taking the ball and going. And unfortunately, Alex Sharp just ran to the corner, and I guess she's knocked down a couple. She wants that three, but she would have had a wide open layup if she kept going towards the rim.
Eisenbarger in number 20 this year. Number 15 is her usual number, unavailable, with Taya Burrows wearing that. And her husband Jack, who plays for the Lakeside Lightning as well in Western Australia, is number 20, so she's decided to wear that number. As Cambage just picks up where she leaves off, knocking down another J, so she moves to 17. Out to 29, that game-high margin continues to grow. Ebzery shoots the three, misses. The Flyers scoop it up. Here's Leilani Mitchell with 3 triples in that second quarter. Bet Cole trying to work her way to the hoop. Kicks it back out, O'Hay to Sarah Blitzhardt. Jump shot's good. More points for Southside.
That was a great touch pass by Jenna O'Hay. Anyone in their right mind would forgive her for just stepping in and trying to take that 3-ball, but see someone in a better position, nice little touch pass and a great knockdown, and that's money for Blitzhardt down there.
Ebseri trying to kick it around. Eisenbarger to Burrows. Here's Garvin, puts the 3 up with 3 seconds left, and they recover the offensive rebound. Ebseri shoots the 3, misses. And O'Hay floats through. Comes up with it for the Flyers. Leilani Mitchell.
Why not?
Her 4th night. She's caught 5 from long range, Leilani Mitchell.
And we might see a couple of Flyers players start to rest and to get ready for the next game. But Leilani Mitchell's one that if Michelle Chambers, you want to get that confidence in her. And she's got 4 threes right now. And it started way back with that wide open one. And you can't give a shooter that wide open one to start rolling up, especially being in a hole for the last couple of games.
Katie Ebseri, after playing the role of distributor, decides I'll just take the jumper myself, puts the shot up, knocks it down. And now another rebound. So involved both ends of the floor here. Ebseri gives it to Garvin in the corner, puts the 3 up, it doesn't go. Sarah Blitzhardt brings it down for Cole. Just 33% from the field. Perth. Sarah Blitzhardt's out to Jenna O'Hay. Plenty of time on that. Makes the triple.
This is the Southside Flyers we all thought that we were going to see. And it's not just them putting up 67 points already. The ball is flying around the court. Everybody's getting a touch, and they're just getting wide open shot, wide open shot. Yes, some of it comes down to the miscommunication on defense from the Lynx, but it's something that you're really happy to see for Cheryl Chambers, the unselfishness from everybody. Everybody's looking like they're having fun, but can they do this night in, night out? Can they be able to offensively execute every time down the floor while still maintaining their transition game, which is so important to their success?
Leilani Mitchell. Jenna O'Hay out of the corner. Cole swings it from one corner to the other. Sarah Blitzhardt to Mitchell. Drives, layup. It goes.
We talked about the San Antonio Spurs at halftime. That's Spurs basketball right there. That ball flew from every side of the court through everybody's hands. And Leilani Mitchell, that's a great knockdown right there. Leilani Mitchell could have shot that 3-ball, but she just finds a nice open hoop. But it started with the ball movement, and that's a pretty sight to see, and that's what we want to see from these Flyers.
Ash Eisenbarger with the make. Candace responds at the other end. Up to 19 points, leads all scorers. 14 now for Leilani Mitchell. Alex Sharp puts the shot up through contact, draws the foul.
There's been a lot of talk about, you see Liz having a little look at the referee there and how she can be looked at in this kind of league, and we know that she's going to come in and be dominant, but if the game's looking like it is, it's going to be even harder to get those calls, and if you get fouled, and you should be finishing those, and to be able to keep going up strong and just keep points ticking over, and that's all you got to worry about right now.
81% foul shooter this year so far, Alex Sharp. Two of two. She leads Perth's scoring tonight. 11 for Sharp. Ebseri with 9. .4 game. Jarry off the dribble. Clydesdale out to Steph Blitzhardt. Back to Amy Clydesdale. Leilani Mitchell does it again. That's her 5th made 3 for Leilani Mitchell. Up to 17. All her points coming after quarter time.
You knew it was going to come this season. She wasn't going to just keep putting in those performances like she did the other night, and she's a terrific player, and it's so welcoming to see. I'm so happy for her to be able to come in, and there's still plenty of time left in this game for her to have a monster, and that rim's just looking bigger and bigger, and she's having a ball out there, and as much as the Flyers love it, we love to see it, and any fan of women's basketball, we'd love to see what she's delivering.
She's going to sit down for the time being. What a night so far, the Washington Mystics guard in the WNBA. 2-time most improved in the WNBA, the only player across either the men's or the women's comp in the big league to win the award twice. Steph Blitzhardt along the baseline, up top to Clydesdale, catch and shoot. A little long, Sharp pulls it down. Up the floor to Jewel Williams, spin move. draws the foul. Nate Conti called for it.
It's just really great take and a nice little spin there. And Monique Conti had her body in the line. I think she just had a nice little swipe down at the end, which would be frustrating for her. But that's the aggressiveness that we want to see. And if you're Ryan Petrick, that's the stuff you're applauding. And get that ball and attack. You've got one-on-one. Try and break a man down and try and get to the hoop. And that's a really good take.
Oh, foul shots, they won't be. Baseline ball. Perth to take it as Katie Ebsary sits down. Emma Clark back into the game. Ebsary with 9 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. On controlled minutes, I think you'd say, as the shot goes up. Over the top of the backboard, and out it goes. Ryan Petrick, plenty of burn into the entire bench. Only got 10 suited up tonight with Chivatoni and Steindl missing. Expected to play tomorrow, second leg of the back-to-back, up against Canberra as Candage pulls up from the foul line, misses. Eisenbarger on the rebound. Down to the corner, the three ball's good. Alex Sharp, a nice shooting night continues. She's up to 14 points.
Really highlighted at halftime. She's the one who's really stepped up. These opportunities were there, and she's just taken it. And that's a really good shining light that Ryan Petrick can take out of this one.
Conti scoops it up, back to Liz, puts it in off the glass. Candage not happy with the no call. And she's going to be teed up here as well. So not happy with the treatment guarded by Eisenbarger and Clark. She had a look at the ref there. And after finishing past Eisenbarger, turns and has a chat to the referee on the baseline. He teed her up, and now she's going to sit down. Cambage up to 21 points.
And I can't say that I know how it feels because I wouldn't to be that dominant in the league, but you look at the scoreboard, it's going to be even harder to get those fouls, especially if they're going to be 50-50 one way, or even if you are getting hammered. It's going to be harder for the referees to call that when it's a 36-point game. So if you're Cheryl Chambers, that tech foul the other night against the Caps really hurt the Flyers in the long term of giving her 4 fouls. So it's not a good look, and it's a really frustrating thing, but you've got to try and fight through it. But again, I'll never be in that position of being that dominant, so I wouldn't understand.
Shot up from Clark, a little short. Hizzy comes up with it for the Flyers. Margin at 35. It was a big moment in the game the other night. And she received, it was her 4th foul, her first technical of the night. Plus minus the other night, she was -5, so plus minus stat, obviously, that the score when you are on the court as an individual. So for a team that lost by 23, and she was out there, they were only 5 points a worse side than the Capitals the other night. Here's Jill Willis driving and lays it home.
Well, it started with the breakaway, which had the little spin, but that was a nifty little move and a nice little up and under and a little bit of jelly on that one.
It's been a good follow-up from the teenager Jill Williams. So she got minutes early tonight in the absence of probably Chivatoni, who usually comes off the bench in the guard spot. Had 2 turnovers to start the game. But good follow-up. She's worked her way back into it, done some nice things, 5 points, hit a 3.
Well, that's something I'm sure Ryan Petrick would have said at halftime. Is like, and he didn't, in his mind, he knows what he's going to get from Darcy Garvin, Katie Ebsary. There is Opal's members. It's who else wants this, and he would have said that everyone's going to get an opportunity. It's up to you guys to take it, and I want to see some confidence and aggression, and we've seen it from Alex Sharp from the start, and now we see it from Jill Williams.
Jenna O'Hay puts it in. Up to 8 points. The Flyers captain. Williams, the look-away pass to Clark. Shot up. It's good. Emma Clark with the bucket.
Was that a no-look pass?
I think so. From the baseline, just chucked it straight up the lane. See if we can get a look at that again. Look from the corner for Clydesdale, misses everything. Dangerous pass. Edwards trying to get it to Sharp. Last touch by Perth over the sideline. There it is.
And this is what confidence can do. You start playing with a little swagger, start having fun out there, and don't worry about the score, especially when you get these opportunities. You're just trying to have fun and go out there. And the last 3 possessions we've seen from her, she's done it, and it's a really nifty little pass.
I'm not sure Clark was intended to target watching the baseline view, but I'm happy to put that down as an assist. Just inside the three-point line, shot up from Steph Blitzarves, misses. Here's Jewel Williams again off the dribble. Trying to make her way to the rack, blocked back by Clydesdale. Perth recover it. Eisenbarger back to Clark. Final 2 minutes of the third. Oh, stripped from her by Jenna O'Hay. Conti had a foot on the baseline. Braden Heselhurst is with us courtside. Braden.
Yeah, the Perth Lynx have been better the last couple of minutes with this young group on. I think offensively, I really love when they're coming off these early on-ball screens, high on-ball screens or handoffs. They've been able to create a lot of open shots and get to the rim off that. And I think defensively with this young group, they look a lot more energetic, a lot more willing to get up the floor. I would love to see them try some other things to get Southside out of sync offensively and see if they can create some easy offense here to finish the third quarter.
Emma Clark pulls up from up top, misses. 33 the margin. Jenna O'Hay a little short. Edwards and Steph Blitzarves both end up on the court. Jump ball the call.
And this game might be a bit out of reach for the Lynx, who are just going to keep fighting. But if you're Cheryl Chambers, you've got to be preaching will work well in that first half. You want to be able to execute the roles for the 40 minutes, because when you come up against those teams like you came against the Caps, who gave it for 40 minutes, you've got to be ready for that. And that's where it starts here. And you just want to keep putting that scoreboard out, but getting through your stuff and keeping that energy the whole way through the rest of this game.
Edwards puts up a tough shot, can't get it to go. Clark underneath the bucket, reverse layup misses. Pizzi pulls it down and is fouled. There's Emma Clark, who we touched on earlier. Late signing for Perth right before the season started. It's a big commitment too, isn't it? Backing Perth out of the college system. The spot opens up late and all of a sudden you're off to North Queensland for a couple of months. Here's O'Hay. Scoop layup's good. Up to double digits for the captain, Jenna O'Hay, to 10 points. 35 the margin. Jewel Williams with a bit of pep in her step. Hand on it from Jenna O'Hay on the way through and last off the knee of the teenager.
Jenna O'Hay, the last couple of minutes, I reckon she's had 2 deflections and a couple steals, and right there, great little hedge coming off your man and getting your hand to the ball, and then on the other end, really good, nice attack. That was a much better offensive set as we see them here running that little double away screen, and they've run this play a lot tonight, but it's been looking more for Liz, where you can break it off and get into this little on ball, and their offense has looked way better tonight.
Monique Conti swings it back into the corner for Steph Blitzarves, had a foot on the sideline.
Got to be ready to shoot that. She's played really well. Great drive by Monique Conti. She had every right to try and put up a little floater there and found Blitzarves in the corner, but you've got to have your feet set. You've knocked down a couple tonight, and you want to let that one fly.
Conti and Jewel Williams. It's a good matchup in itself, even though it's wide on the scoreboard, to keep plenty of interest in. Conti right up in the grill of Williams, shot away by Edwards. Clydesdale from the half court misses the backboard. 3 quarters down. Southside by 10 at quarter time. They led by 27 at the half. They now lead by 35 at 3/4 time. It's the Flyers 80, the Lynx 45.
Well, we've seen they're going to get whatever they want if they get through their offense, and they've got that talent to do so. But I like the fact that you brought up that little matchup there of Jewel Williams and Monique Conti. But I said it before, Monique Conti is an important piece of this team, because the guards in this league are really good, and they saw that last game with Maddie Rocci and Jade Melbourne. And when they come up against Townsville, you've got Shyla Hill, Lauren Nicholson. If they start to roll, who else is going to step up and try and go to them? It's a really tough ask to have one of your starters say, go clamp him down. So Monique Conti's role becomes important there to just harass. And you've got your 5 fouls. If that's all Cheryl Chambers needs, go be a pest on defense and go and try and disrupt something and bring energy.
I want to talk to you about Leilani Mitchell. All that points coming after quarter time. She's up to 17, 5 made threes.
Oh, I think I love it. She's broke out of this little slump, and there's been a lot of heat on her. A lot of people have been talking, especially with every game you're coming up against an Opal squad member, and we're seeing what these Opals guards can do. One of them, Katie Ebzery, Maddie Rochi as well, Shyla Hill. These guards, they're all fighting for that spot, and Leilani Mitchell just saying, hey, I'm not giving it away. I know I've had a couple of rough games, but I'm here to stay, and this is what we wanted to see, and I'm stoked that we've seen it tonight, and hopefully she can come out and have a great last quarter to finish up a really good game.
She's 35 years of age now, Leilani Mitchell. So it reminds me of the scene out of Coming to America, where the guy in the barbershop says, I don't know how old she is, but I know she whipped their butt though, and that's exactly what she's done tonight. Up to 17 points.
And it's kind of, if you're Ryan Petrick, you're probably talking about like picking your poison of what you want to live with and trying to get Liz away from where she's comfortable. But Leilani Mitchell coming off a couple of bad games, especially last game where she was 1 of 8 and really struggled, and that wide open three got her going, and now that she's just having that swagger back, and it's a really good sight to see, and for the Flyers, and can she have a few more in her right here, and I hope she does.
Such a decorated career. One of just so many stars in the Southside Flyers lineup. I think a lot of the talk from pundits and people in and around basketball leading into the tournament was Southside lose a game, it's going to be a cakewalk, they'll breeze to the championship. Well, it's added great intrigue to start to the tournament as the Flyers try to work it out, adding Liz Cambage to a team of local superstars. They have so many Olympians and former Opals, current Opals in their lineup. A couple of early losses in the season, and you get the feeling, Pete, that it's maybe a little more wide open than people expected leading in.
Well, it is, because it's not a normal season. It's shortened. It's the hub season that we have to deal with. They were never going to go undefeated because of that, where in a normal season you might have a week to prepare for games, and they have all these practices and a pre-season to find their roles and what works. In a season like this, if you're off one game, you can potentially just throw your season down the drain. So that's what Cheryl Chambers will be preaching. They need to show this kind of composure on offense with the defensive energy every single night going forward.
Shea Parker-Williams with the handoff. Emma Clark pulls up off the dribble. Sarah Blitzarves comes down with it. So we'll see Canberra tomorrow night. It's as tough as a back-to-back goes for Perth. So you get Southside off a loss, the point to prove, and then you get Canberra with the best win streak in basketball, having won 5 in a row. Bet Cole, nice finish.
It was a great rotation by the Perth Lynx there, and to make it take a tough shot, but you're right. And momentum as a team is so important in a season like this, and right now the Caps have it flowing, and their energy every night's been terrific. So it is going to be tough, but the Lynx here have 8 minutes to try and build a little something themselves to go in feeling confident and really give it a good crack.
Clinch Hoykard checks the three, doesn't go. Leilani Mitchell away to Bet Cole. They wanted a call for the travel, didn't get it. Cambage from up top, catches the front of the rim, can't get the shooter's roll. And Edwards on the rebound.
You saw Ryan Petrick wanted the travel there. I think he's right. I think Bet Cole got away with one. It would have been frustrating to see that three go down. So lucky for them, it rolled out.
Burrows. Shot up, no good. O-board to Edwards. Out it comes. Banging down the triple. Emma Clark from long range. So they're up to 48 points, which equals the lowest score of the season so far, which was set by Perth back on opening night. Leilani Mitchell does it again. It's been her night from long range. She's found her groove, Leilani Mitchell, 6th made three.
Well, this is what we've come to expect, and I think it's a credit to how good she is when everyone's so shocked when she has a night or two like she's had the last couple of games, because this is what we're used to seeing, and this is just a great side. But that's why the Flyers are so dangerous. Running in transition 1 through 5 can just get it and go. But I think the whole talk of tonight is going to be about Leilani Mitchell, and rightly so. It's just a beautiful sight to see. She's such a tremendous player, and so happy that she'll be able to knock a few down, and hopefully this gets her rolling for the season now.
They've all come after quarter time for Leilani Mitchell, up to 20, 6 of 8 from long range.
Well, it might have been the scout because she came off a couple where we say they're going to go under the screen, but Taya Burrows there, she's already knocked down 5. You want to try and go over that and not give her a chance to step back, because she's seeing that that room is huge and she's knocking down anything she shows right now. Really, really nice to see. And
again, Liz, I want her in the action. You going and standing in the corner, Liz goes and stands there, and everything is gunned up. Again, if you understand it, and you've thrown a reverse, and that corner's asleep, and you're going to just come off it yourself. The first time we ran that, Katie got a wide open 3. Hey, they stopped in their starting 5 against our second unit. If that's the level of respect they've got for you, lay your hearts out. Again, there's nothing to lose here. Let's go.
it's really great to hear from Ryan Petrick right there, but that's something that we've seen other teams do with the Caps did it the other night, the Boomers, is bring Liz into the offense. So as a defender, she has to make her mind up. Is she going to play that drops defense off the on ball where she sits back a little bit and gives up wide open jump shots? Or is she going to play a bit further up and try and come out, which is going to get layups, which we saw Katie Ebstry do, and he said, and finished off saying is he just wants to see him play hard and play with some heart, and that's what you're going to see here hopefully in the last 7 minutes.
Ron Petrick leading in said the last time that they met, he praised the girls' effort and enthusiasm for the first 17 minutes, but really dropped away as the game disappeared. So an emphasis on playing out the full 40 tonight. And Alex Sharp, that's one of the shining lights out of tonight as she's up to 17 points. Another 3-ball. Cutting through the give and go from Sarah Blitzhardt, can't finish the rim.
Oh, I love what I saw from Alex Sharp tonight, and we talked about just stepping up with that opportunity. And it's one thing to be taking those shots with confidence, but she's knocking them down, and it's really, really welcoming sight. I'm sure Ryan Petrick would be a nice tick on that little spot.
Sharp, Burrows, Eisenbarger, Clinch, Hoycard and Clark, the 5 out there for Perth. Burrows has a pocket picked. Monique Conti downhill with the layup. Second turnover for Taya Burrows. Team's had a few of them tonight. Conti sweating on her again. Shares it with Beck Cole. There's 3 of them under the bucket. Easy mate for Cole.
Well, she started terrific, Beck Cole, and then Leilani Mitchell picked up Steph Blitzars. But Monique Conti's the one, and I've said it earlier, is her energy defensively is something that's going to be massive for the Flyers going forward, and it's good to see. It's annoying. And the first game of the year was against the Bendigo Spirit, and they threw her in there in the second quarter to go at Tessa Levy, and she just really tried to glove her. As a great little block there from Jenna O'Hay, and just made her life tough, and that's the kind of player that she is, and that's a really, really nice thing to see. And wouldn't want to be playing against her, because that is so annoying when someone's going to get up and in you full court and not let you breathe, and that's what leads to turnovers, and that's what makes you second guess things and end up doing unforced turnovers when she's sitting down.
I'm glad you emphasised Jenna O'Hay earlier as well. These players, and there's so many, we talk about the stars, the galaxy of stars in this lineup for the Southside Flyers, that they become a victim of their high expectations, where we just expect this usual high output. She's done some tremendous things again tonight. Jenna O'Hay, she has a seat for the time being. Braden Heselhurst is with us courtside. Braden.
Yeah, Cheryl Chambers in that last time out just wanted her team to ride out this last quarter. Doesn't care that it's a 44-point game after that last loss against UC Capitals. Really wants to put the Perth Lynx to the sword, as you can see by this full court pressure. Then on the Perth Lynx side, as I said earlier, I spoke to Ryan Petrick before the game, and he said he remembers Alex Sharp killing his Western Australia team in the Australian Under-20s Championships for Victoria. So that was a few years ago now, so he's had his eye on her for a while, and she's proven that she's a player to watch for the future today.
Well, it's a great point that Braden brings up there from Cheryl Chambers, are really trying to put it in this 40 minutes, because, yeah, it might be a different level of talent than the Capitals were against the other night, but they gave it to them for 40 minutes, and they just showed what a championship caliber team does, and that's what Cheryl needs to see, because you've got to come and get that championship off the Capitals. They're not giving it to anyone. If you only play 30 minutes, they're going to have that experience to be able to come over the top. So that's what she wants to see right here.
Here's Gilliam straight on the floor. Shot goes up. Misses everything. And a ball movement from Perth. We saw them just swing it around, eventually get a look from the corner that didn't drop. 4:40 to go. Another game tonight as round 3 continues in the WNBL. Bendigo and Adelaide both off heavy defeats last night. Loose pass, a rare error for Alex Sharp tonight, we've sung her praises. 17 points at 75% from the field.
Oh yeah, she's been terrific, and as we said, that's definitely a shining light. But there's a couple of others as well, and the energy of Taya Burrows, and we saw a nice little spark from Jill Williams for a bit there in the third quarter, and she started to play a little street ball style and spin and a no-look pass, and just a couple of players trying to get that confidence going and just have fun with these opportunities that are presented with some players out.
Touched on it a couple of times. First leg of the back-to-back, so they got Canberra tomorrow night. Ebsuri tonight has played at times, but hasn't played in this last quarter and probably controlled minutes. As the shot goes up right on the horn from Gilliam, misses. And they should get Chibatoni and Steindl back tomorrow night, so keeping that in mind, they've been able to get some burn into the bench.
And I'm not surprised that we haven't seen too much of Katie Ebsuri for that matter. With this game kind of out of it, Ryan Petrick knows what he's going to get with playing her, and she's going to be able to get her shot, and she's going to be able to do what she does best. And he needs to see from these young guns who wants these opportunities, who's going to play alongside the Darcy Garbers, the Katie Ebsuri, which I know what I'm going to get. And we've seen it a couple of times with Alex Sharp's one. She's put her hand up, and then these little sparks we've seen of Williams and Burrows. It's going to be something that Ryan Petrick can put in his mind going forward in this season.
Taylor Gilliam called for the foul. Gippsland area, grew up on a cattle farm. Taylor Gilliam, 21-year-old, out there at the moment, late for the Flyers. And here's Jesse Edwards, who's at the line. Spent last season with Adelaide. People watching back in Perth. Old man Craig Edwards, Sandover medalist, 1989, which is the premier player in the WAFL competition. Talented sporting family.
Gotta call you Mr. Wikipedia, all these little just little nuggets ready to roll.
I did come prepared in case it was wide late. There's a margin now back to 44 points. And the made basket for Monique Conti up to 7.
That's a plus for Cheryl Chambers to have Monique Conti. We know there she is doing what she does on defense, but if she's going to be an offensive threat at times when she needs to be, and is not going to have to come out there and as a point guard and try and run through things and get to the rim, get assists. She's going to have to step in, knock down open threes, and take the chances she can score when she needs to be. But she's going to be in there for that defensive energy, so that's an added bonus. And as well as they've executed offensively tonight and their defensive energy, I think Cheryl Chambers is starting to see how important that she is to this roster.
What would your Wikipedia page say, Pete? Any little hidden nugget in there? Fun fact?
No, I'm pretty sure my mates get on it and try and change everything every single time. And I actually saw that I was born in Whoop Whoop one time, which is is not true.
Pass picked out. Conti trying to thread it through the lane. Eisenbarger to Burrows, shot up, foul. Count it and 1.
Great to see her finish that and get on the scoreboard, because I actually think she's had a really good game tonight. And yeah, she was 0-7 before that, but she's had really good defensive energy. She missed a layup over Liz in the second quarter and turned around and tried to pressure her full court, and that's a good thing to see. That's something that you can hang your hat on going forward. But she earned that, and a great run right there, great pass and a really tough finish.
Bet Cole runs into Burrows, and Burrows strips her of it.
I think that's the third time tonight that I've said something and it's gone and happened. So don't call me the Oracle just yet, but we're getting close.
Edwards puts the shot up, misses, makes the putback, grabbing the O board, so 39 points now. Monique Conti off the dribble. Out to the corner for Gilliam, up top, Bet Cole, catch and shoot. This is everything.
And I like the little 2-3 zone they've gone with. Obviously, Liz is not on the court, which changes that, because Liz can exploit the zone of the high post, the low post, and just show something different. And yeah, it's probably about also preserving their bodies, not having to run around and man-to-man the whole time, knowing you've got to back up again tomorrow. But it's just another thing to show differently, and you can't do it when Liz is on the floor, because she'll stand in the high post or sit underneath the hoop and just score at will.
Southside's only back-to-back for the season coming up this weekend. There's a basket for Ashley Eisenbarger. Lays it in with the left hand. So Saturday, here at Cairns, they play Townsville Fire. There's Monique Conti up top. Clean look. Misfires. And then on Sunday, they play Adelaide. So two teams in the playoff hunt. I think we'll know a lot more about Adelaide in the coming days and across the weekend. We've got Bendigo tonight and then Sydney and Southside in a back-to-back Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah, it's going to be tough, and we saw some videos of them doing some quarantine workouts, and really unfortunate when they're coming off 2 wins and playing really well. And you're right, if you had a physical to get back in and to keep backing up and getting back to where you were is going to be a tough challenge, especially for a young team. But I think that's what really helps is they are young and they're excited to be able to go out there and just give it everything.
Once Perth, Eisenbarger with another make, so she's up to 8 points. Once Perth get out of this weekend, still the two-time defending champs tomorrow as Gilliam jacks the 3. Can't connect. They do have Bendigo coming up on Tuesday, so that's their only win of the season so far, Perth, so they'll certainly mark that down as a winnable game.
Well, we've seen in everything in the season. I know they play the Caps tomorrow, and the Caps are probably the model of consistency so far this season. But if you have an off night shooting or something happens, you can be beat. So I'm sure that's something Ryan Petrick's going to be able to say. We get the other 2 starters back, and you've got Alex Sharp playing with confidence, Burrows, Williams, and get a bit more of a run into Ebsbury and Garvin, and who knows what can happen. And you've got to try and preach it that way and try and go and knock them off and cause an upset. And I think that if they believe they can do it, anything can happen.
Edwards trying to put the shot up unsuccessfully, but they've had a good moment here, Perth, latter stages of this quarter. They fell behind by, I think, down as 44 at one stage, so it's back to 35 points, final minute on the game clock. As Conti bounces straight off Edwards, ball ends up over the baseline.
Oh, this is a really good 4 minutes right here and both ends. And since they've gone into a zone, and probably a bit of a scary sign for Ryan Petrick because he sees how well that zone's working and might want to use it a lot more, but their offense has been better. They've been aggressive and confident. That's a great way to close out this game, and this game was probably over early, and they had every right to kind of just hang their heads and say, well, this sucks, and they've turned it around and played really well in these last few minutes.
Saray Taylor with the steal and then gives it to Conti, banks down the jump shot. On the precipice of 100 points again, the Southside Flyers, something they've achieved 3 times already this year. Eisenbarger, loose handle, out to Burrows. He's drawn some praise from Pete Hawley tonight. Trying to make her way to the hoop, bounce pass. Taylor got herself in front of Edwards.
And that's one of those an aggressive turnover. That's something you live with, and she's trying to make something happen there, and she's been successful with it a couple of times, and you don't want to be shying away from that and maybe turning it over without trying something. So that's okay, you live with those kind of things, but 27 turnovers for the game as a whole is going to be hard to win any game, let alone a team with so much talent in the Flyers.
Going to play it out here, the Flyers. Monique Conti around the back to Gilliam in the corner. Catch and shoot, it's good for 3. And the 3 figures are up for the Southside Flyers. Leilani Mitchell back in form. The Flyers back in the winners list. A 40-point blowout victory over the Perth Lynx. Southside 102, Perth 62.
Corn Dogs Jackie right there on the buzzer, but no, what a great win. That's what we expected to see from the Flyers, and yeah, their talent was probably going to be enough to get them over the line in this game, and that's the truth with the depth they've got, and especially with a couple starters out for Perth, but it's the way they went about it. Their offensive execution was brilliant and their defensive energy, but I think that the big shining light we see from the Flyers, Leilani Mitchell broke out of her little mini slump, and that's a really, really great sight to see, and as they're all smiles there, as they should be, and can they sustain this against those teams that are going to pose a real big threat to them trying to get this title?
She ends up with 20 points. Leilani Mitchell effectively only in 2 quarters. Didn't have a point in quarter time. Caught fire in the second term and carried that hot hand over into the third. So finishes with 20. Liz Candage, 23 and 8, her numbers tonight. Steph Blitzups, particularly early. There was a few lead changes in the opening quarter, 3 of them, in fact. As the Flyers opened up a 10-point buffer at quarter time, she had 10 points, a lot of them coming in that first term. Alex Sharp led the scoring for Perth. She had 17 points, but a big night for the Flyers. They get another lopsided victory. They win by 40 points. Of course, unfortunately for the Southside Flyers, where we're going to judge them are against the best teams in it and their fellow title contenders. And at the moment, they played Melbourne and lost, and they played Canberra and lost by 23 back on Monday night. So a watching brief on the Southside Flyers going forward. They get themselves to 5-2.
I'm glad you brought up Steph Blitzard. I think Leilani Mitchell sat down early in that game and Cheryl Chambers wasn't happy with something, and she came in and was terrific, and then gave Leilani a chance to go back in, and their guard play was really strong, and it was so important to them getting back on track, because we know what Liz is going to do, and even if she does kind of have a tough night, which she did in the first half against the Caps, she came out and dominated that third quarter, ended up with 20 and something. So Liz is going to give you what she can offensively, but who else is going to really step up around? And in a guard-talented league that we have, it's going to have to start with Leilani and Beck Cole, but when they bring in these guards like Steph Blitzard and Monique Conti tonight, they're crucial to this team.
She's the story of the night for us, Leilani Mitchell with 20 points, and she's with our own Braden Heselhurst downstairs. Braden.
Yeah, here with Leilani Mitchell. Leilani, a good game from you guys. How important was it for you to come out with a strong performance after that loss the other night?
Yeah, it was really important. I mean, I think the biggest thing for us was making sure we play together, both offensively and defensively. Obviously, we've got a really talented roster, but we're still trying to figure out how we all mesh together.
You 20 points tonight. Was it a mindset for you to come out aggressive after the other night?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think that's one thing we spoke about yesterday was getting everyone involved. You know, we have Liz inside, who's a big target and can probably score on every possession, but we know in the long run, in order to make it to the grand final and hopefully come out on top, we've got to get everyone involved. So that was the focus today.
And you guys come in as the favourites, obviously, to this competition. How do you guys deal with that expectation as you go through a shortened season?
Yeah, I mean, we know that, you know, with our talented roster, we know that we're one of the top teams, but you know, it's not just going to happen automatically, as you saw the other day against Canberra, who also is very talented, and they played smarter than us and they played more together than we did. So today was our focus. Our focus was just to make sure we compete and come out together, both offensively and defensively.
And Townsville on Saturday, what do you need to improve on before that big game?
Yeah, Townsville gave us a good run when we played them the first time. They've got a lot of talent. They play a lot of pick and rolls. They've got size inside as well. So we're just going to have to, you know, make sure we fine-tune the few things that we made mistakes. Specifically, probably our pick and roll defense will have to be better.
Thank you, and congratulations on tonight.
Thank you.
Leilani Mitchell with 20 points, catching up with Braden Heselhurst downstairs. What did you make of her assessment of the night?
Well, she said everything that we kind of touched on, and the other night they kind of got exposed by not playing together against a team that is so well drilled, and they execute so well and play together. And we saw it tonight, and as I said, their talent was probably going to get them over the line tonight, but could they execute when they need to and share the ball? And they did all that, and they did it very well. And they got people going when they needed to, and the ball was flying around and everyone was getting touches, and you could see the infectious energy and the fun and the joy that kind of got back into that Flyers team. And you saw on the flip side the other night how frustrated they were. So that's a really good sign for a team that is so talented, and the role clarity, and to be able to have everyone step up where they need to. And I think they did. There was a real team effort tonight.
Both teams were able to get minutes into their bench. There's Jill Williams. I mentioned the start to her night. That was the look-away pass, which I think caught everyone by surprise. Emma Clark was good enough to finish it off, but we're able to see a couple of youngsters that we haven't seen a whole lot of in the league previously.
Oh yeah, Jill Williams had a great little spurt there, which it was really nice to see, but Alex Sharp was the big moment that player that I took from the Lynx tonight. She just stood up and took that opportunity, and I'm really happy with the way Ryan Petrick gave that chance. It was all well and good to say to Darcy Garvin and Katie Ebsbury, try and do everything for us with a couple starters out and see how close we can get. And he really ran with the young ones and said, take your opportunity. You can see it there in that timeout huddle. He said, play with some heart and go out there and play with confidence. A really good thing to see against such a talented team. And that's only going to help these young players to come out knowing that this might be the best team in the comp or the most talented team in the comp. So if they can get confidence against this, their next game, all of a sudden they're thinking, we've done this against the Flyers and spurts. Let's try and string this together and really have a crack at this last end of the season.
He saved some minutes for Ebsbury and Garvin tonight. We haven't seen, we've seen bigger minutes from them obviously in other games, plus Chippertoni and Steindl to come back tomorrow night. So the second leg of the back-to-back against Canberra. That's how it finished. Pete Hawley, 102-62. The turnovers, I'm sure that'll be something that'll come up from Coach Petrick.
Oh, for sure. And it started early. You know, there was a lot of it was the pressure that the Flyers, the guards were putting on. But Jenna O'Hay, another one, was really good defensively. And then it kind of fell into the unforced error turnovers, which is the worst kind. But then there started to be some aggressive ones, which are okay. And it's going to hurt to have 27 turnovers against any team, let alone the Southside Flyers. So that's something they got to work on. But they brought the rebounding back. They only lost by that in 3 in the end. And there's a lot of positives that they can take out of that game.
Let's take a look at the ladder as to how it's all situated at the moment. So they move to 5-2. The Southside Flyers equal record with Townsville Fire. And of course, the Canberra Caps still sit on top on a 5-game win streak.
Well, the Caps are the barometer, and that's what a championship team does, and they've delivered it every night. But that game against Townsville coming up is going to be huge because Townsville's playing with momentum, and we talk about how they got outmatched with the guard play against the Caps, the Flyers the other night. Townsville's guards are just as good as anyone in the league, so that's another opportunity for Leilani Mitchell and Beck Cole to set that tone early and try and give them quiet nights, because Liz is going to come out, do her thing, but that game's going to be awesome because that's the guard matchups we want to see. We want to see Nicholson and Hill versus Mitchell and Cole for 40 minutes. We want to see who's going to try and go at these games, and that's going to be a cracker.
If you had to pick your 4 right now?
Right now, you're probably looking at Canberra, obviously, Southside, and I think it's going to have to be the Boomers in Townsville right now. But those last couple of spots is going to be, will Adelaide get back on a roll and start to really show some stuff? Sydney's shown flashes as well. Can they start to string things together? And you never know in a season like this. 1 or 2 wins can get a team's momentum rolling, and just as a couple of losses on the other side can really start to collapse the team. And you can't afford to have any collapses in a season like this.
And Sydney have games this weekend, 2 nationally televised games up against Townsville and Adelaide, so we're going to find out about Sydney fast. Tonight, what we did find out about the Southside Flyers is that Leilani Mitchell's back in town. She had 20 points, and the Flyers get home by a wide margin. Thanks for your time, Pete. Always great to work with you.
Looking forward to this cracking weekend of games, and it's really going to set the tone for the rest of the season.
On behalf of myself, Corbin Middlemass, Braden Heselhurst, and the entire crew, signing off. There's a second leg of a doubleheader coming up. It's Bendigo and Adelaide for those of you on KO Sports. But for now, goodbye.